Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today, I want to share some tips and tricks for playing Arena Breakout Infinite. I came to this game from another extraction shooter, Hunt Showdown, where I've played over 1,000 hours. Now, with about 50 hours in Arena Breakout, I'm still pretty new, but I thought it'd be helpful to share my observations and tips for other beginners. If you're just getting started, I hope these insights help you dive into the game. While some of these tips might not be groundbreaking for seasoned players, they're aimed at newcomers who are still figuring things out. This video is specifically for people who are new to extraction shooters or Arena Breakout. If you're a veteran player and already know all the mechanics and secrets, feel free to share your expertise in the comments. That way, we can all learn together, whether it's new strategies, ways to earn cash, or hidden mechanics. So let's dive in. In this video, I'll talk about how to make money and share tips for playing solo in Covert Ops mode as an imposter. By the end, you'll know how to earn enough cash to head into raids with solid gear as an operator. As you can see on the screen, I'm doing just fine when it comes to money and weapons. Everything in my inventory was earned in Covert Ops solo mode as an imposter. I didn't buy any weapons or armor. The only thing I spent money on was upgrading my storage, but I'll get to that later. Covert Ops is a mode where you're assigned a random character with a random weapon known as the Impostor. The downside, you have less time for looting and extraction, around 10 to 20 minutes compared to the 40 minutes you get in Tactical Ops as an operator. Plus, most of the time you won't start with armor, a helmet, or even a backpack. But honestly, I think the pros outweigh the cons. Let me explain why. At first, you don't lose anything if you die. The only thing at stake is your time and maybe your nerves. Second, NPCs leave you alone unless you attack them. Bosses are an exception, of course, but regular NPCs won't bother you unless you start the fight. My advice? Don't shoot unless you absolutely have to. Firing your weapon gives away your location to the entire map. And once you kill an NPC, all the others will become hostile and hunt you down. From my experience, I only go after bots if I need to upgrade my weapon or grab essentials like a backpack or armor. If you need a weapon but don't want to alert anyone, you can take down NPCs with a knife. NPCs in this game aren't the brightest, so it's usually easy to eliminate them quietly this way. Once you've taken down an NPC and snagged a decent weapon, your next goal should be to find and loot safes. Sure, you can explore the map for other loot like jackets with keys or weapon boxes, but I personally prefer going for safes. There are 6 safes on the map that require keys to access, but luckily, 2 safes are always open. One is located at the stables, and the other is under the bridge. However, looting the safe under the bridge can be risky. It's an open area, and you're exposed to potential sniper fire. That's why I always head to the stables, and I recommend you do the same. The safe there is located on the 2nd floor of a house, providing decent cover. If someone tries to ambush you, you can hold your ground and defend the house, assuming you've got enough ammo to back it up. But remember one important thing. Opening a safe makes a loud noise that other players can hear from a good distance. For many, this sound is like a beacon, so be ready for company once you start cracking it open. After you've raided the safe and grabbed some valuable loot, it's time to carefully head toward the extraction point. But here's an important thing to keep in mind. In Covert Ops, you don't start the raid with everyone else. Instead, you spawn in at a random time. This means that by the time you reach the safes that don't require keys, there's a good chance they've already been looted. If that happens, don't get discouraged. There's another way to make some solid cash, but more on that later. Another way to make money is by killing and looting other players. However, there are some important nuances to keep in mind. In a raid, you'll encounter different types of characters. NPCs. They won't attack you unless provoked. Player imposters, other players disguised as NPCs. Operators, solo players. Squads, groups of operators. The tricky part is that player imposters look just like regular NPCs. This means you need to stay alert at all times. The key to identifying a player imposter is their behavior. NPCs follow predictable, scripted paths, while player imposters act more like, you guessed it, players. They run, jump, and generally behave in ways that feel less robotic. With some experience, you'll get better at recognizing these differences. After a few raids, spotting an imposter will become second nature. If you'd rather avoid combat, you can try mimicking NPC behavior. Walk slowly, follow a fixed route, and avoid sudden movements. Sometimes this can trick other players into thinking you're just another NPC. That said, I don't recommend relying on this strategy too much. It's risky, and more experienced players may still see through your act. Instead, stay vigilant and be ready to act when the situation calls for it. The next type of enemy you'll encounter is solo operator players. These are well-equipped soldiers who, like you, enter the map to hone their skills and gather loot. They're more dangerous than imposter players because they often come with strong helmets, armor, and high-tier weapons. That said, if you're skillful, cautious, and a decent shot, they can become your best source of valuable loot. Yes, they're tougher to kill, but the rewards are usually worth it. Here are some tips for fighting operators. First, use sound to your advantage. Footsteps, running, reloading, looting, opening crates, rustling in bushes, every sound tells you something. Pay attention to these cues to locate enemies, figure out what they're doing, and gauge how close they are. After a few raids, you'll start recognizing these sounds instinctively. Keep in mind, though, that just as you can hear them, they can hear you. Move carefully to minimize the noise you make. Second, don't rush into combat. Whenever possible, avoid starting the fight yourself. Take a moment to scout the area, assess the situation, and find escape routes or spots where you can heal and regroup if necessary. Third, let others fight. First, if you notice multiple players in one area, it's often best to let them engage each other first. Let them burn through their health kits and ammo, then take on the survivors when they're at a disadvantage. Fourth, ambush with caution. If you're confident in your shooting skills, you can jump into an ongoing firefight to create chaos. This can confuse your enemies and give you an opening, but it's a risky move. Make sure you have a clear plan and an escape route in case things go south. The next most dangerous opponents you'll face are squads of 2 to 4 players. For solo players, especially imposters, engaging a squad is a high-risk situation. Here is advice for handling squads. First, avoid conflict. Whenever possible, steer clear of squads. They're usually better equipped, have the advantage of teamwork, and can overwhelm you quickly. Second, fight only as a last resort. If you have no other option, no escape route, nowhere to hide, then engage with caution. Use cover, plan your moves, and try to isolate squad members to take them on one at a time. Another way to gather loot is through what's commonly called scavenger mode. This involves searching for corpses after a firefight and looting whatever is left behind. This method is quite random. As in most cases, the winners of the firefight loot everything valuable and leave nothing behind. However, there's always a small chance they'll overlook something or simply leave in a hurry. Scavenger mode is ideal for those who want to minimize risks and avoid direct combat, but be prepared for modest rewards. It's not the most reliable way to make money, but it's low risk. Lastly, let's talk about a more passive way to make money: quests. These are missions given to you by your in-game contacts, and they come in 3 types. 1. Simple quests from your contacts. 2nd, weekly quests with reset timers. 3rd, seasonal quests tied to the game's current season. You can complete quests both as an imposter and as an operator. Early on, the quests are relatively easy, but as their difficulty increases, so do the rewards. Completing quests can grant you money, crates with weapons, armor, or helmets, rare and expensive loot, inventory stash upgrades. The rewards are definitely worth the effort, so I highly recommend focusing on quests whenever possible. That's all for today's video. If you have any questions about what I've discussed, or if there's something I didn't mention, feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts and help with anything I missed. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. It really helps out. And if you're interested in more tips about looting, weapons, or map strategies, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to make a more detailed video, like a complete guide to all the lootable spots on the map. Thanks so much for watching to the end. See you in the next video, and until then, have a great day, and may your loot always be valuable.